First of all, let me talk about simply the if condition. To use this if condition, right, in R, first of all, I will just create a variable called x, and I will assign a value to this variable as number one. I will assign number one to this x variable, simple x variable, right? Right now, I need to check whether this number is a positive number or another one, right? I need to check whether this number is a positive number, right? Then for that you can use a what? Simple if condition. We can use a simple if condition, right? Then if, right, within the bracket give the condition. What's the condition? If x is greater than 0, right? If x is greater than 0, it should be what? It should be a positive number. Then if it is true, the true part we are giving inside this flower bracket, right? Inside this flower curly brackets, right? Curly brackets, right? If it is true, you need to print. We are using the print function. You need to print it as positive number. This is the simple way of using if condition in R. If condition in R. Then if you run this one, it will display number, because 1 is greater than 0, right? Now let me add the different value. I will add 45. 45 also what? 45 also positive number. Then let me run this one, right? Again it will represent it as positive number, right? Then I will add for the x minus 45. I will make this one as minus 45. Here see, this represent minus 45. This dash represent minus 45. Right? Don't confuse it. Right? Then this part is what? This is the arrow symbol. Right? This is the arrow symbol. Right? Then if I run this one, what will be the output? No anything. Why? Because this is false statement. This condition becomes false. Therefore this if condition, right, if as it is false, it will be exit from this condition. It will exit from this condition because x is less than 0, not greater than 0, right? Then for that, to print it as a negative number, you can use simply what? Else. And use simply else. And within the flower brackets, you can use within the curly brackets, you can use the print command, right? And give it is as negative number. You can pass this one as a negative number, right? Let me run this one, right? Then it will represent this one as a negative number. Else statement. Now again I will make this one as plus 45. I will take 440. 440 is a positive number. Again let me run this one. It will display it's a positive number. It's a positive number. Right. Now this is the if and else. How to use if else in R? Simply, you have to give the condition within the bracket, and we use curly brackets, right? We use the curly bracket to pass the true value. If that condition is true, then do this one, right? If this condition is true, else condition is true, do this one. Okay. Then now think, if instead of this positive and negative numbers, I will pass 0. 0 is what? In mathematics, whether 0 is a positive number or a negative number. 0 is what? It is not even a positive number or a negative number. It's not a negative number also, right? 0 is 0, not a positive number or not a negative number. Now what will happen if we run this one? if we run this one, what will happen? Now it will print negative number because we haven't given the condition for this one, right? What will happen? Let me run and check this one, right? It will print this 0 as a negative number, but it's wrong, no? In mathematically, 0 is not even a positive number or not even a negative number. Then for that we can use else if statement, right? Else if, right? Else if, right? For that, right, I will type a nested if. Even you can use a nested if, that means if inside another if, no, right? In here I will show you how to add else if. Right, then I will make this else as else if. In here we are using the keyword just else space if, else if space if, and give condition, and give the condition. Now here what's the condition? If x is less than 0, if else if x is less than 0, what need to print? It should be a negative number. If x is greater than 0, it should be a positive number. If x is less than 0, it should be a negative number. Or else, then else. At last you can use the else. Else it is what? It is 0. Else it is 0. Right? You can use a print and type this is 0. This is 0. You can use this one. This is 0. Right? Now let me run this one. Then it will represent this is 0. Now instead of this 0, I will pass 0.1. 0.1 means what? A positive number or negative number? 0.1 is a positive number, right? 0.1 is a positive number. If you run this one, then it will display it as a positive number, right? Then minus 0.1, I will add the dash minus to represent it as minus 0.1, right? Then minus 0.1, it's a negative number, right? Then 0, 0 is again 0, 0 is again 0, right? This is 0. This is the simply way how to use the if, else if, and else, right? Right? In R. Only you have to remember this syntax, how the syntax is working. You are passing the condition inside the normal brackets, and if the condition is true, you are using a what? Curly brackets, and we are giving that true statement. What you have to do. Got it? About the if. Right, next. Then how to add a while loop. While loop. While loop in R. Right? It is also similar to the if syntax, right? It's also similar to the if syntax. Now, first of all, I will take another variable called y, and I will assign this y as I will assign this one as 9. Right, now I will assign this one as 0. Right, I will assign this one as 0. Right, this is the thing I am going to do in here. Now I need to print some numbers from 1 to 9. Right, I need to print some numbers from 1 to 9. Then for that, it is also similar to the if syntax, right? It's also similar to the if syntax. Now, first of all, I will take another variable called y, and I will assign this y as I will assign this one as 9. Right, now I will assign this one as 0. Right, I will assign this one as 0. Right, this is the thing I am going to do in here. Now I need to print some numbers from 1 to 9. Right, I need to print some numbers from 1 to 9. Then for that means I am going to print some values like this. I need to print, right, 1 2 3 4 up to 9. For that I am going to create a simple while loop. Right, for that I will use while, and next the condition while y is less than 9. I will take it like this, right? While y is less than 9, and again the curly brackets. It's similar to the if condition, right? Only it's changing what? The keyword. Instead of if we are using in here while, right? Then we need to increment this y value. You know these things, right? Because you have done so many programming languages, right? Java, C++, right? Sorry, Java and C, you have done those things, right? Right. Then in here I am incrementing this y, right? Y is equal to y plus 1. Then print this y. Right. Then let me run this one. Then it will print the values from 1 to 9. It will print the numbers from 1 to 9. It will loop. Then how this loop works? At the first case, this y is equal to what? 0. Y is equal to 0. Then it will check what? 0 is less than 9. First of all, it will check 0 is less than 9. Yes, this is true. 0 is less than 9. Then it will add what? It will add, in this statement, or it will increment what? 0 plus 1. It will display what? It will assign the value 1 to y. It will assign this value 1 to y. Then it will print this value 1. Right? It will print this value 1. This is the first loop. Then the second loop. Now y have increment. Then y is 1. Then it will check 1 is less than 9. Yes, 1 is less than 9. That is true. Then again it will add, instead of the 0, 1. 1 plus 1. It become 2. It become 2. Then it will print this 2. Then again the next loop. Right? Third loop. Right? 2 is less than 9. 2 is less than 9. Yes, it is true. Then 2 plus 1. Answer is what? 3. Likewise, it will loop up to this point, right? It will loop up to this point, right? 8, right? Then 8 is less than 9. Yes, then it will work. Yes, 8 is less than 9. Then what will happen? It will add 8 plus 1. Then the answer should be 9. Answer should be 9. Then the next loop, right? Is there any loop for the next? Next one is what? It's checking 9 is less than 9. Whether 9 is less than 9? No. Then what's happened? This condition become false. This condition become false and exit from this while loop. This is the simple process. Right? I think you got it. How about this while loop? Right? And you can do this similar thing. You can print so many numbers by using a for loop. Right? By using a for loop. Now, in this R, to construct a for loop is very easy. Now here's in this while, you need to assign this variable initially as a value, 0 value or any value you have to give. Then you have to pass this, you have to give this condition. Then again you have to increment this y one by one. You have to increment this one. So many R statements are there, but simply by limited number of R statement we can do this similar part by using a for loop, right? This is the specialty in R when considering with the other programming languages also, right? For the for loop I will take the for loop, and here inside the for loop I will get a variable. Simply I will take it as I, right? You can take any variable, right? You can even take any variable name even, right? In here I will take a simple variable called I, right? Now you no need to initialize this I. You no need to initialize the value to this one. I is equal to 0 or something. You no need to give. No need to initialize in this R, right? No need to initialize. Then this we calling this I as a looping variable. We are using this I to loop, right? Then special keyword is there. We are using this special keyword in. Then after that, now think I need to loop this one from 1 to 9. I need to loop this one from 1 to 9. Then simply you have to pass the range. You have to pass the range likewise. 1 and use the double dot and 9. You have to give the range. Start from 1 and the end point is what? 9. Start from 1 and the end point is 9. You have to give it like this. Then within the bracket you can just print what? You can just print I, right? No need to increment this I, right? Like this, no need to increment, right? Now let me run and check this one. Here see, values will be print 1 to 9. Automatically I will be increment, right? I will be increment from 1 to 9. We are passing it as a range for loop, right? Now think you need to start it from 0 and you have to end this one from 10. You need to end this one from 10. Then let me run this one. Then it will start from 0 and it will end from 10. As well, you can use this one. You can start from 1 and think you need to print 100, the numbers from 1 to 100. You can use a simple for loop in R. Then it will print the numbers from 1 to 100, right? 1 to 100 very easily within one looping condition and by using one statement, right? For this one we need how many statements? 1 2 3 4 statements for the while loop to do the same thing. Got it? How the easiness of this for loop in R? Very simple, right? Next one. Let me move to the lab sheet. Now already we talk about this if else, nested if, then while loop, for loop, right? We talk this ones. And first of all I talk this one, how to import a text file and how to import a CSV file, and I show you how to write also. Those things I show you. The next one, how to create a function. How to create a function in R, right? To create a function. Right, then to create a function, in R, right? Now it is somewhat different from other programming languages. In R, we are making a variable as a function. We are making a variable as a function, but in other programming languages, we are using a keyword and we are taking a function name, right? We are taking a function name, a keyword, and there's the function name. But in here, right, only we are making a variable as a function. We are making a variable as a function. I will take a variable as fun. Just a variable as fun. You can use any variable, right? Now I am going to make this variable as a function. That's the difference in R, right? Then to make this variable as a function, I am using a new function called function. Very easy to remember, right? New function called function, right? Like function, right? Now this variable have become a function, right? Now I am going to, now in here I am going to construct a function, implement a function to display the sum of two numbers. Think this is s should be equal to a plus b, right? Now a is a number 1 and b is the number 2. The addition of these two numbers should be inside this variable. And this is the thing I need to create, addition of two numbers, right? You know, right, to pass the values inside the function, right, we are using what? Parameters. Similar as the other programming languages, in here we have to use parameters. Now to add two numbers, I have to use how many parameters? Two parameters. I need to use two parameters. Similarly, I here use a comma b. You can use any parameters, right? Any names, any letters, right? And again we are using curly brackets, right? I will erase this comment. Right, then in here now I need to add these two numbers. Then s is equal to a plus b. Now this s is what? S is a local variable. What? This s is only valued inside this function, right? Only valued inside this function. We call it as a local variable, right? Now this is the way how to implement a simple function in R, right? You have to pass the parameters, and inside the function you can create the other R statement, right? We are making this variable as a function. That's the special case in here, right? Let me select this part and let me run this one, right? Our function have implemented, no any issues. Then next part, call the function, calling function. We need to call the function next, right? To call the function as the simple other programming languages, right? Instead of the function name, in here we are using fun variable. Right? Fun variable, and within the brackets you have to pass the values. Now think I need to add 20 plus 60. I am passing 20 comma 60. I am passing the numbers 20 comma 60, right? Then let me run this one, right? Now it's work. What it doesn't show the value. Why? What's the mistake? I need to print this s no inside this function. I haven't used a print statement. We have to use a print statement to print this value. We need to use a print statement. Then again implement this one, implement the function. If you edit the function, again you need to run that one, right? Again you need to run this one and let call this one, right? Then it will display the answer 80. 20 plus 60, its answer is 80, right? This is the way. Now what will happen in here? This 20 will be assigned to this a parameter, this 60 will be assigned to this b parameter. Then 20 plus b, it will store inside this variable s, right? That is 80. Then it will print that value 80. This is the way simply how to implement a function. This is the implementation part of the function, and this is the calling a function, right? Similarly as the other programming language, this is similar to the other ones, right? This is the way how to call a function. Different is in here what? We are making this variable as a function in now. Got it? Is it clear up to this point? Is it clear? Right, then if it is clear, now let me move to the first question. Now there are so many questions. First question, right? First of all, they have given, right? Now you have to practice those things, right? These such of material will be come to your quizzes and for the means, right? Therefore you need to practice one, right? They are telling you compute the real roots, real roots. Then you need to have the idea of the real roots, right, of the quadratic equation in the form and the form they have given. Now in here you have to simply create a function. I will give you some hint, right? You have to simply create a function to do this question 1, right? Now what's the meaning about this quadratic equation? What's the meaning of these real roots? For an example, I will take like this. Now think, this is the factorized one, x minus 1, right? Then x, I will take plus 1, x plus 1, right? This is an equation, quadratic equation, right? X minus 1 and x plus 1, quadratic equation. Now tell me, this have been factorized, right? These have been factorized, right? Then tell me, what are the roots of this one? What are the roots? In here, what's the root? Now we are making, huh?
Plus 1 minus 1. X
Yeah,
plus
very,
1, x plus minus 1.
very easy. For this one, plus 1, and this one, minus 1, right? Then you have an idea about the roots, right? Then very easily you can find the roots by using this equation, right? What the equation? Minus b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac divide by whole thing divided by 2a. This is the equation to find the root. X is equal to this one. You can find two roots from this equation. Then try this one. Construct this equation inside the function. Construct this equation inside the function. Right. Then to find the square root, I will give you another hint. To find the square root, you can use this sqrt function. Right. You can use this sqrt function. I think you need to find the square root of 9. It should be 3. No? You can use this one, right? You can use this sqrt function, right? I will give you 2 minutes. You can try. Then after that we can discuss that part. I will give you 2 minutes. Right, let me try the question 1. Then for that, one, right, I will make a simple variable as root. I will take a variable as root. Then I will assign the function. Now in here, how many parameters we need? We need 3 parameters. We need to pass this A, we need to pass this B, and we need to pass this Z. I will take the similar letters, right? Similar letters I will take, right? You can use the other things. I will use A, B, C. These are the 3 parameters in my function. Inside the function, again I will create a new variable called x1. This is the x1 value, right? Then we need to create that equation, right? Within the bracket minus b. Then first of all I will create the plus 1, plus then sqrt function, right? Inside the sqrt function squared. Then b means b to the power 2, right? B to the power 2. Then minus 4 AC. Then 4 multiplied by A multiplied by C, minus 4 AC. Then at last whole thing need to divide by 2A. That means 2 multiplied by A. This is the first one. Then let me print the root x1, right? Similarly, the same expression, there should be 2 values, no, right? You can copy this one, right? Then you have to change only this one. Instead of this plus, you can have to use what? Minus, right? Because plus or minus, no? And you can make this variable as x2. Like this. This is the implementation of the function, root function. Then let me implement this one, right? No any issues, right? Then before calling this function, we have to get an example, real value example, right? Real example we need to consider. Now for an example in here I will take like this. Let me take x minus 1, x minus 1, x plus 2. Real roots, no, right? Roots should be real, like 1, 2. Then what's the equation here? You have to multiply this x by this x, then it will represent x squared, this x by this 2 plus 2x, then minus 1 multiplied by x, minus x, right? Then minus 1 multiplied by 2, minus 2. Then when you simplify this one, it represents x squared, right, plus x minus 2, right? Then what's our a value? A is equal to 1, because in here the component, what we are calling it, our exponent is 1, right? Now in here b equal to 1, and our c is equal to minus 2. Now separately we need to pass these values. In this case, what should be our answers? The root should be 1, and from this one minus 2. These are the two answers should be 1 and minus 2 should be the answers. Right, now let it try passing these values. 1, 1, minus 2. Right. To call the function, you have to call the root. Within bracket, you have to pass this value separately. For A, 1. Then for B also 1. Then for C, minus 2. Right. Then let me run this one. Then it will display the output. The roots are 1 and minus 2. This is the way how to construct a function to display the roots of a quadratic equation, to display the real roots. Got it? Right, then right, I will erase this part. Then in these questions, this second question, third question, you have to do them by yourself. Right, I am not going to discuss the second one and the third one and as well this fifth one. You have to try this fifth one, third one and second one by yourself. The second one you have to just run and check this output. In the third one you have to try these two function, log function, right? Just type the logs and use some value for the exponential exp function, right? And try this fifth one also, right? Then let me move to this fourth one. In here I will discuss 4, 6, 7, 8. I will do the harder things, right? Right, the fourth one. Fourth one, consider the vector, right? They have given a vector range 1 to k, right? Where k is a positive integer. Positive integer means that k can be 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, 100, 1000, likewise. K can be like that, right? Then write an R command that determines how many elements in a vector are exactly divisible by 3, right? For an example like this. Now think, there's a vector, right? There's a vector which contain values like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the vector, right? Now in this vector, how many values are there exactly divisible by 3? Right, this 3 is exactly divisible by 3 and as well this 6 is exactly divisible by 3. Then only 2 numbers. Then as the output you need to print 2. You need to print 2. There are 2 numbers exactly divisible by 3. Right. Then first of all I will show you how to use this range 1 to k inside the vector. How to use this range inside the vector. NQ4 right, for this one, now think I will create a variable called vec, right? Simple variable vec. Now how to make a vector? We are using simple C, right? Then to assign some values we can give a range. For an example like this, starting from 1 and use the double dot. In here I will add 6, ending from 6. That means in this case, right, k is equal to 6. K is equal to 6. Right, now let me run this one. Let me run this statement and let me call the vec variable. Right, here see what are the values in my vector, in vector variable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 2 values exactly divisible by 3. This is the way how to assign some values inside the vector by using a range, right? By using a range. Now if you get, instead of this 6, if you use 10, right, then we get the numbers from 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10, it get the numbers from 1 to 10, likewise, right? Then you need to find how many numbers are exactly divisible by this 3, exactly divisible by 3 inside this vector. To find this one, right, to calculate the summation, you can use the sum function, right? To calculate the summation you can use the sum function, right? like this. You can use the summation function. Inside this summation function, we are using the condition, right? My values are inside this vec variable, therefore I am calling this vec variable, right? Vec variable. And how to get the remainder? By using the modulus, right? Modulus. Double percentage to find the modulus. When this vec variable values are divided by 3, right, it answer exactly should be equal to 0. Then find the summation of this condition. This is the way, right? If we run this one, it will print what? It will print there are two values. What are the two values? 3 and 6. 3 and 6. Now let me check this one for another value for 20. 1 to 20 numbers. And let me run this one. Then how many numbers are there? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6. There should be 6 numbers exactly divisible by 3, right? Then again you can call this one and it will display there are 6 numbers. Even you can find that you can get the numbers from 1 to 1000. Let me take 1 to 1000, right? I will call this one, right? Then let me check how many numbers are there exactly divisible by 3 from 1 to 1000. Then it will represent what? 333 numbers are there, right? You can call a simple summation function. Inside that summation function, pass the condition that you need. This is the way. Simple method. Now, after I teach you the 6th, 7th question, you can try to do the same output, right? You can try to get the same output by using a for loop, right? By using a for loop and if conditions. You can try at home, right? After I teach you about that 6, 7 questions. Okay, let me move to the next one. Right, 5th one you have to try by yourself. Let me move to the 6th one. Right, 6th one, write a loop structure. Write a loop structure to scan through an integer vector to determine the index of the maximum value. Right, that means, right, similar vector. Now think there's a vector like this. Vector is there, values are 10, 45, right, number 1 and 2, 55. Right. Likewise, there are so many random numbers inside this vector. Now you need to determine what is the maximum number. You need to determine what is the maximum number inside this vector by using a for loop, by using a loop. Even you can use a while loop or simply you can use for loop, right? By using a for loop, you have to find the maximum. In this case, what's your maximum value? It need to display 55 as the maximum value. Loop structure. Right. You can do it by yourself. After that, I will discuss this one. I will give you 2 minutes. Try it by yourself to construct a loop by using a while or for loop to find the maximum from a vector. As a hint, I will show you something. Right, now think this is question 6 and I will create a vector. I will take a simple variable y and I will assign some values inside this vector. For an example, 4, 50, 10, 2, 11, 55, right, 23. Now these are my values inside this vector. Right. Now in the previous day also I taught you, right, what's the position of this value? This value number 4, what's the position? What's the index of this value? in here. In as a vector, it should be what? 1 or 0. Now this is the first none. First one, the first index should be 1. In R, this should be 1. And this second one should be 2. Right? The third one should be 3. Right? Then this one at last one, this is the fifth one, it should be 5. This is the index value, the position, or simply you can take this one as the position. This is the first position and this is the last position is number 5. But in other programming languages, array is started from 0. Right? This one is starting from 0, but R is starting from 1. I told you in the previous lab. Right? The same thing you can get in here. Now think, you need to call this number. Right? You need to get this number 11 from this vector. You need to get this number 11. Then simply, now what's the position of this number 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the position 5. Right? Then simply, right, you can call the vector variable y, and by using the square bracket, you can pass the position 5. You can pass the position 5. Then run this one. Right? Then it will represent not allocated. Why? First of all, you have to run this one. First of all, you have to run. I forgot to run this one, right? First of all, run this vector, then call this one. Then it will display what? Number 11. Number 11. Now think, you need to access this one. Number 23. You need to access this number 23. Then what's the position of this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th position. Then y7. Then it will access this 23. To access the first one, the first position value is what? 1. Then if you run this one, it will print 4. First number is 4. This is the way how to access the values from a vector. Then you can construct a for loop and check what is the maximum value. Think, I will give you 2 minutes to think this one. And there's another function, it also will be useful for you. Without that function also you can do it. Now think, you need to find the length of this vector. You need to find the length of this vector. Length of the vector means what? How many values it contains. Now in this case, it contains 7 values. It contains 7 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values contain. Then to find the length of this vector, there is a function called length. Right? Inside this length function, you have to call the vector variable. Right? Vector variable. Now in my case, this is the vector variable. Why? Then let me run this one. It will show the length. There are 7 values inside this vector. That's the length. This also will important, right? Try it. Right, let me try this question number 6. Let me try it. Right, then first of all, in here, right, to find the maximum, I will take a simple variable called max. Right, I will take a simple variable called max and I will assign the maximum value as 0 initially. I will think in here, this is the logic, right? I will think this variable is the maximum value. 0 is the maximum value in this max variable, right? I will store this 0. Then I will use a for loop. For, right? And as a loop in variable, I will use I in, right? Then the range of the vector. Vector is starting from where? Vector is starting from first position. Vector is starting from first position and this vector is ending from seventh position. Then you can use like this. 1, right? Double dot 7. 1 to 7. Or instead of this 7, you can use what? Length function. Now think, if you dealing with a huge data set, now then this is a simple vector. No, there are only 7 values. Think a vector contain 15,000 or billion of data, right? Then even you don't know how many how many datas are there inside this vector, right? Then what to do? You can, instead of this 7, you can use this length function. You can use the length function, right? Inside the length function, you can call the variable y, because y is the variable which contain the vector values are contained, right? Then inside the for loop, we are using a if condition to check the maximum. If the condition is what? If y I, right? I am using this one, right? yi is greater than max. If yi is greater than max, then yi should be the max, right? If it is true, right, max variable should be what? Yi. This, right? Give me a 1 second. They are small, right? Give me a 1 second. Okay, sorry for the disturbance, right? Then, right, the maximum value should be the yi. Then at last, after this loop, you need to print the max. To display the max, you need to print the max. Likewise. Now, this is the condition in here, right? Now think, first of all, right? First of all, I is become 1. Right, so initially I is 1, then yi, right, yi is what's the value of yi? 4. Then it is checking 4 is greater than max. Initially max is what? 0. 4 is greater than 0. Yes, it's true. Then what will happen? It will assign this 4 to the max. It will assign the 4 to the max. Now the max is 4. Then it will go to the second loop. Then I become 2. Then y2, y2, y2 means 50. Y2 means what? 50. 50 is greater than 4. Right? It will check 50 is greater than 4. Yes, 50 is greater than 4. Then what will happen? Again it will assign 50. Y4, y2. Y2 is 50 no. Y2 means 50 no. 50 will assign to this max variable. 50. Likewise, it will loop, right? Then it will come to this stage. In this stage, what will happen? Right, the maximum value is still 50, right? Then it will come to this position. Then this is what? 1 2 3 4 5 6, sixth one, y6. When it will come to y6, right, y6 is 55. 55 is greater than 50. Yes, 55 is greater than 50. Then what will happen? It will assign 55 to the max. Then the last one, it will go to the last one, y7, right? Y7 is 23. 23 is greater than 55. 55? No. Therefore, it doesn't work. This part is doesn't work. It will exit from this if condition as well. It will exit from this for loop and it will print the maximum value. It will print the maximum value. Maximum value is 55. Now let me run this one first. First of all, let me run this part. Right? Then let me print the max. The maximum value is what? 55. Right, to check how it is working, you can copy this one and you can put a print statement inside this if, and get the idea how the maximum have been changed. Then again run this one. Yes, it will show first. At the beginning 4 is the max. Next it will change to 50 as the max. And at last it will change as the 55 as the max. This is the way how to use a for loop, right, to find the maximum from some vector values. Got it? Then even you can find the minimum one. Simply you can find by using this simple this code, you can find the minimum. Right? Now instead of this max, I will take min. Take min. And in here now you need to assign a higher value, no? Right? Instead of 0, in here I will assign some higher value. Right? Like this. Or you can assign some initially. You can think, right? You can assign the vector value also. Let me add the first value of the vector, right? Like this, as the minimum one. Let me think this is the minimum one initial, right? Then again you have to change this one, right? You have to change this one. If change the operator, and it should be checked by using min. Right? If this condition is true, you have to assign this min. Right? The same one, only you are changing the operator. Only you are changing the operator and you are assigning a position, any value inside this one. I will start from the first value. Right? Because this is looping, no? It's starting from 1, no? Therefore I will start it from this first value. Right, let me run and check this one. Then let me print the minimum value. Minimum value is what? 2. In this vector, what's the minimum value? 2 is the minimum value. This is the way. Same thing you can use to find the minimum also. Right? This is the 6th question. Then let you move to the 7th question. 7th one. Then what they have saying in here, the 7th one, they are telling do the same thing. You need to find the maximum one inside the vector, maximum value, right? Without using a loop. How to find without using a loop? We can find in R. They are the simple functions, right? Right, to find the maximum, right, without the loop. Okay, let you try that one, seventh one. Then to do seventh one, I will again copy this one, copy the same uh, as q7, right? Copy the same vector, right? Then now think, you need to find this one. You need to find the maximum instead of using, without using for loops, without using for loop. Then for that, you can simply use like this, right? Now this is the vector. Inside this vector, I am calling the square bracket. Inside this square bracket, you can use this function. This function means which max function, which dot max function, which dot max function out of y, because y is the one which contain this all these values. Then what I have done, I am calling this which dot max function inside this y vector. Then it will check one by one, it will check one value by one value, it will compare and it will check, right, what is the maximum value, right? This is the syntax what I have done, right? Inside the y vector, inside the y vector means what, y square bracket, inside the y vector I have called what, which dot max function. Very easy. Then let me run this one. Yes, simply it will display the maximum value as 55. Similarly, you can find the minimum one, minimum one also, right? Then inside the y function, call which dot min function, call this which dot min function, right? Minimum value of y, right? If you run this one, it will display 2. No need those type of loops to find this. You can just use these functions, which dot max and which dot min functions, right, to find the maximum and min very easily in R. Got it? Then at last, right, now again you need to try this one by yourself. I will explain this. I will give you some 2-3 minutes to do this 8 one. To do this 8 one, I will give you some 2-3 minutes. Right, in here they have given to compute the compound interest, right? How to compute the compound interest, right? The formula they have given, this is the formula to compute the compound interest. They have given a description where P is the original money lent, right? P is the initial money, right? Then A is what is the amount to in n years. A is the amount after the n years. N years means it can be after the 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, even 15 years or 20 years. This is compound interest. Now you need to have the concept of this compound interest also to do these type of questions. Next one, R, capital R. This capital R is the percent per year interest, is the rate of interest, capital R, and they are telling you to write a function here, write a function to calculate the amount of money owned after n years, where n changes, and they have given the n range from 1 to 15. 1 to 15 it will change. The number of years will be changed from 1 to 15. It will start from first year and it will end with 15 years, right? Then original amount 5,000. That 5,000 means P. P is equal to 5,000. Then this is the 1 to 15 is the n range. Simple n range is 1 to 15. Rate remaining constant throughout the period. Capital R rate is 11.5. R is equal to 11.5. You have to construct a function, right? For to do this one, I will give you a hint, right? You have to create a function, and again you have to repeat it from 1 to 15 now, right? To repeat this one, you have to use a for loop. Very easily you have to use a for loop to repeat this one. Then inside the function there should be a for loop, right? I will give you 2 minutes, try by yourself, then I will explain this one. Right, while you are doing, I will first of all I will establish this equation. While you are doing, I will give you some 1 minute, right? Here to make the equation, I will take the same uh, letters they have given in the equation, right? Then capital A, P multiply, I will use a bracket, then P, I will take it as capital P multiplied by, then another bracket, inside that bracket 1 plus R, capital R, divide by 1 plus, again I will use another bracket, R divide by 100, then the power of this one, power n, power n, then power simple n. I will take the similar letters they have given. That is the equation. Now we are going to do the question number 8, Q8. Right, then first of all we have to make a function, right? Then I will take a variable as money, right? I will take a variable as money and let me create a function, And how many parameters we have? We need to pass three parameters: initial one, and the rate, and the uh, end year. Those are the parameters we need to pass. Then again I will use the same letters, right? Capital P, and I will use capital R and simple X, right? Then within the brackets, inside the function, right? Now we need to find this one for n years. To find this one for n years, you need to use a for loop, right? Then for I, right? I is the looping variable. I in range. No, sorry, not in range. The next we have to give the range. Range they have given 1 to 15. Now 15 is we are passing as a parameter, therefore no need to give the 15. Then you can start from 1, and for the n part you can give simple n. You can pass this n parameter. For the n we are passing that 15, right? 15. Or you can even without passing this parameter as n, you can just give it as 1 to 15, right? Right. For more accurate, I am passing the n number of years also I am passing, right? Even we can use this one to calculate up to 100 years, right? Likewise. Then inside this for loop, we are going to calculate the interest. I will copy this one and I will paste this one inside the for loop. Right, now already in, and for instead of this n, now this n is represented by what? This I, right? This I is this n is represented by this I, because I is similar to the n, right? Then I will represent this n by I power for the first year, and for this next year, second year, for the third year, for the fourth year. The I is the one which increment, right? Then I need to print this wall step by step. Then I will use print command inside the for loop. Print a. Now there's a mistake, right? There's a mistake in here, right? I will show you what's the mistake after running this one, right? Now we need to calculate the compound interest now, right? This is the function, right? Function, inside the function there's a for loop. It's the way how to construct. And first of all, let me run this one, right? Then we need to call this function. There's a mistake in here, right? First of all, we need to pass what's the value of p. Value of p is 5000, right? Then value of r 11.5, no? Yeah, 11.5 value of r. Then value of simple n, we need to pass the maximum year. Maximum year from 1 to 50. The maximum one is 50. End year is 50. We are passing the end year, right? Let me call this one, right? Then now it will display, but there's a problem, no? Now think this is a compound interest. This should be, I will assign instead of this a, I will assign b. Right, again I will run this one. Right, it's getting the output. Right, now I need to tell this one because I have done this one so many times, because this is repeating, right? Now in here, instead of this b, I need to use p. Why? Because this p, next time this p again should be this 6260, right? Then it should be calculated for that one, right? And for the third year again, by this is compound interest. Now compound interest means year by year it should be increases. Compound interest should be increases, right? Therefore we have to use the same p. Initial amount is increasing from year to year. Then let me print this p, right? Let me put p. Now let me create the function. Right. Now let you call this one. Right. Sorry. Instead of what I have used, I have to use capital P, right? So I have printed simple P, right? So right, this is the correct value. Here see, in the first year it is 5575. Then for the next year it should be increased. This 5575 should be this P for the second year, and it will get the answer this one. Then for this third year the P should be 6930, right, for the second year calculation. Then for the third year calculation, right, the third year calculation, right, 9607, it should be the P, right. Then here see, it will increase, right. Compound interest means that one, it should be increase year by increase. That's why calculate in the value, and I am assign this value to again the same variable P. I am assigning it same variable P. Again we are using that same P value, the calculated value inside the P. This is the concept. Got it? How to find the, how to compute the compound interest?